All right, and we're live here with SampleServe Masterclass Wednesdays. Thank you for joining us. I am Joshua Paul. I have Russell Schindler here with us. He's the founder and CEO of SampleServe. I'm the product manager of SampleServe. Russell's been in the environmental game for over 35 years. We like to do all kinds of things on these Masterclass Wednesdays. We like to bring on experts from the industry, which we have today. And we also like to show you tips and tricks on our apps. We also like to talk about the industry in general. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comments section. Even after this is over with, we still like to get to comments. And if you think you know somebody who this would be helpful to, these links remain live after this is over. Give this link a share to anybody you'd like. Make sure you like and comment, anything like that, and keep the conversation rolling with us. What we're talking about today, we're always talking about Sample ENV, which is our environmental platform. It's our environmental app for digital data collection, report graphic generation, and our integrations with a special company that we've been working with for a while, which is In-Situ. So let's bring up Tyler. Tyler, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing today?
Good. Pretty good. So Tyler's with In-Situ. What's your main title there at In-Situ, Tyler?
Yeah, so I am the director of global rental sales. So I manage our rental business out of our Fort Collins office, our company Ajax in Texas, and then our branch in the UK.
Nice. I want one day to have the word global in my title as well. It's very large and important.
It feels it. It feels very, very important from time to
time. We can get you some new business cards, Josh.
Just anything global, worldwide, something like that. I think global sounds real important. So, we're Tyler's here to talk about some industry stuff that we're both kind of adjacent industries. They're dealing in rental, meters. We're dealing in software, data collection, data handling, and reporting. So we're very adjacent, and we also have some awesome integrations that we're going to talk about. First, let's play this little video that kind of suits us up, ready for our conversation here. So this is a video. I went out and shot some video with our friend Dave, and he's using both of our products at the same time. So let's see his story here.
Dave Alper. I'm with H2O Investigations. We're a company out of Skoda, Michigan. Today we're doing a new site that just opened up, and I'm sure glad I have SampleServe and In-Situ here to help me out today.
Meet the future of environmental sampling with In-Situ Aquatrol meters and the SampleServe field data collection app.
This is a time saver. No longer will I have to stand there and just monitor my tablet and punch in numbers every 3 minutes.
Experience seamless integration that automates the sample collection process, eliminating the need for repetitive data entry.
I can take care of some other business. I can search out older wells that I need to find. With a second set of equipment, I can even get hooked up and be doing 2 wells at once. It's going to be a tremendous time saver for us. More productivity.
SampleServe and In-Situ, seamless integration for easy and accurate digital data collection. Set up your projects and start sampling digitally for free at SampleServe.com.
So that's Dave. He's one of our biggest fans here. He's actually, I was just talking to him the other day, and he just randomly out of nowhere he brought up that meter integration. We weren't even talking about that at all, and he's just like, "Hey, I've been out in the field. I've been using that meter, and I've been really enjoying it." So yeah, it just goes to show he's it's working, and people are enjoying it.
Well, it's somebody I've sampled literally thousands of wells. SampleServe is a 24-year-old company, and we started out as a sampling company, and I've long been a fan of the In-Situ meters, and getting them integrated into our app has been actually a dream of mine for quite a while, because I know I am actually a little jealous now that people get to be out there and use the product, and it's been a dream of mine, and I actually have not sampled a well using it because we actually don't do sampling anymore. So, yeah, but it's good to see people, really enjoying it, and seeing how they can actually be more productive. That's really big thing.
Yeah, and the reason it also generated was because of customers have been asking for it. That's the majority of our new features have been come from customers that have asked for it. So Tyler, let's keep it a little light and on you. So
Yeah.
our first question here is, what's your philosophy when it comes to making customers happy? In context of environmental monitoring.
Yeah, so my biggest philosophy with this, and it's not just U.S. based. It's pretty much anyone working in environmental is, I always try and work with our team and teach them, that we're here to partner with people. We don't want to just be a vendor, somebody that you just get one thing from. It's just price driven. It doesn't matter, the service and the importance that we have to you. It's just you're a vendor, and we want to be partners on your project. One of the big things we really pride ourselves on is talking with customers about what they're doing, why what we're offering is the best option, and if it's not the best option, what is there to help you get to where you need to be. And I think with with the amount of pressure everybody's under to get things done, quickly, accurately, we don't always look outside at new technologies and things. So one thing I always just try and do is really understand and explain to a customer where you're coming from, to try and understand what they truly need. A lot of times people don't want to share what bothers them. Who wants to walk into the grocery store and be like, hey, this, zucchini I got looks okay. I bought it here because I had to, but I'd really like it to be something better. And I think when you do partner with somebody, you get to really hear what is important to them, what makes their day work. Because we all have lives outside of our careers. So, is there aspects of your life that this career is impacting that we as part of the equation are helping or not helping? So partnership is the biggest thing we try and offer to customers to keep them happy and keep them coming back.
I love that idea of partnerships, and that we do the same exact thing. We always like to say, we're not just giving you, software as a service. We're becoming your digital partner, because, a lot of our major clients, we meet with them bi-weekly or monthly, and we go over, we'll meet with them every Friday, and we'll sit down and say, what do you like? What don't you like? And what do you want to see? And usually that's when we get ideas for, stuff new features to come out, and that's really where one of these features started.
Yeah. And it's those, listening to your customers, the most important thing, right? Because we have ideas, even though that I've sampled a lot of wells, all of the really good ideas in our app, including the integration, have really come from customers and users. And so if you're listening to your users, they might not be able to express exactly the features in detail, but they'll tell you generally the direction you should be heading in. So
and that's how we stay connected to the evolving needs and challenges of our customers. And how do you do it on your end, Tyler?
A lot of the benefit of working with In-Situ is, as a manufacturer, we do talk to customers quite a bit. Before I was in this position, I was the regional sales manager for In-Situ for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. And so you're with customers a lot. And just like Russell, like you mentioned, you're seeing people sample, you're seeing people take water quality samples in different avenues and areas. So I'm always asking, what do you like? What could be better? I think it's one of those things in lives we don't get to do enough is just explain when things go well. We always want to talk about it when it doesn't go well, but when it goes well, I always like to know what it is. A lot of it for me is reaching out to customers after a big project, like you guys mentioned, setting up stuff in the beginning. But I also spend a lot of time at conferences, on LinkedIn. We have something in In-Situ we call our success stories, which is a really great marketing opportunity where we, again, partner with individuals who have used our stuff successfully, whether it's a, Okeechobee Swamp sampling project, a Poudre, river sampling behind the office project. And then we also have Aquapod, which is our new marketing podcast. And with those avenues, we have a lot of areas where people can come and find new areas for industry or overcoming challenges for customers. And I like to use those myself, when I have a free time, instead of sitting here on, Facebook looking at something that isn't relevant, isn't something I need to be doing. I'm probably on LinkedIn looking at through somebody's webinar, somebody's, new technology that came out. Just trying to advance us. And I've been working in environmental for about almost 15 years now. And every day it's always looking for the new, latest and greatest, because I think that's how we really, again, partner with customers and help them succeed in their challenges.
Yeah. They want to be able to see everything that's new and have that available to them through somebody. Right.
Yeah.
All right. What do you see as the top priorities for your customer today? And it kind of folds into that new technology and new advancements, right?
Yeah, I think, the biggest ones are always service and experience. We have tons of customers that call us saying, hey, we we just haven't been getting the experience we want. We really just need to see something, service wise, that's going to get us farther. Cost is obviously always the biggest one. As we have new technologies come out, if you have something that looks amazing, but it costs way more than what the industry is asking for, or what the customer is, it's probably not something that's going to get picked up as easily.
Right.
So with In-Situ, we always just try and be really cost effective and conscious about what we're renting and what we're offering.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll say is, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I remember even the older brands. I can't remember the model numbers of the In-Situ meters.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were, more expensive than the ones that you're selling today, and the ones you have today do way more than the ones of 15 years ago. So, like most things in technology, and In-Situ is part of that. The technology gets better, and the product gets better, and the cost actually comes down. So, kudos to In-Situ for kind of being able to do that, make a better product at a lower price.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one of the main things too is, like, you've probably seen this, Russell, in sampling as well, as I worked at a lab previous to working here. I worked at Pace Analytical, and it was a couple years, almost 6 years ago at this point, and that's when the low volume sampling was starting to kind of really be a prevalent technology in the field. Yeah. And I think what a lot of people see is, changes in the lab game becoming much more frequent and much faster, whether it's quicker turnarounds, smaller sample sizes. But on the technology side, from a sampling standpoint, it's pretty much, there's a lot of the same standards. It's always the same low flow kit. It's always the same low flow meter. But, not to get too far ahead in the conversation, but this is something I think that we both do really well, because if you can take the sampling app that you guys have with SampleServe, the low volume sampling that the labs offer, and then the quality and decrease in time that our sensors, give to you from calibration or stability, you can dramatically decrease the amount of sampling time you need.
Yep. And I've always said everything about sampling is like taking every little step and just shaving a few seconds off, and before long you've got minutes, and at the end of the day you've got hours. So
I think, from a priority standpoint, you're seeing a lot of stuff like the video mentioned. If that individual can do 2 wells at a time, now he's probably on a better playing field in a competitive standpoint, because now he can pull himself. I always like to look at it as a safety, advantage too. I have one less, cable connected to a handheld that I'm tethered to. If it's hot, if it's buggy, if I'm trying to talk to a driller, I can be moving around the site while my low flow is going. Just being able to take your eyes off something that requires you to sit and watch a ticker go for 15 minutes, can be something we don't really ever, capitalize on or actually put a value to. But I think in the long run, those are areas that are going to be hugely helpful for anybody coming up through a sampling, organization, and also for project managers, just overall. Because billable time is the big thing. We all know that for our customers, is if you can be billable, that's what the company's looking for. We can save you some of that time, do our best stuff.
And so that falls directly into this next question, because billable hours really affects digital media and digital tools, because something that can really reduce dramatically reduce your time in the field, or your billable hours, that can also be something that drives your choice if you want to switch to digital or not. So do you see that happening at all? How do you feel the shift towards digital technologies, environmental sampling?
Oh, I mean, as society shifts from, reading or sitting and either just being outside without electronics or being around electronics, you see that change all the time. Like we see kids who are constantly growing and using apps way more, people who didn't realize, they weren't born with cable boxes, they were born with streaming. So I think, it's, on the professional side, we're always behind it because we don't have the time, and we don't always prioritize it because it's not monetary revenue generating tasks. But I think, for us, it is In-Situ, and you guys at SampleServe in this partnership, one of the things that we can always do is offer a physical person to do a training on, because this is something I think that if you're trained well, we show you how to do it. We show you how to get things working correctly, and then you go to go and use it, you'll see a huge improvement in the field. Like I have a training coming up next week in New York City where I'm going down to help a customer with, a huge setup for groundwater stuff. And I'm going more because I want to make sure that they are comfortable using this, but that they also learn how to make things work correctly going forward, so that they're not just utilizing the older stuff.
Right. Yeah.
One thing I'll point out is in the video you showed for Dave. I happen to know his company, and the way he prices things is he charges a flat rate per sample that he collects. So he's not on a time and materials basis. So if he can do 2 wells at a time, he's doubling his income, right? And that's really why, the use of these digital tools kind of lends itself, because you speed up the efficiency and the productivity. It lends itself to fixed price, business model versus a flat time and materials. I always said that if the if a roofer got paid by the hour, the nail gun would have never been invented, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a roofer use a nail gun. I mean, they can put them on really fast, and it's because they get paid, by the square, the size of the roof versus by the hour. So that's really the big advantage.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that, for smaller WBEs or disposition businesses that we all need to work with, and help as well. I think that's a major change.
Yeah.
So Nick just commented, he said, is in-situ integration open technology? Can other tool providers take advantage?
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the great things about in-situ in general is all of our instrumentation is an open technology. We do work off SDI 12, but Modbus is usually the easiest one to work with. We've integrated with you guys here. We have other integration partners across the globe and across the country. We have other people that have other telemetry platforms that we integrate into. So we definitely are, Nick.
Yeah. And that falls into our next thing. How do you see the integration of in-situ meter with SampleServe shape in the future? Do you feel like there's going to be more coming? Do you feel like there's going to be a shift towards, what people's directions and choices are going to be made in the future because of this?
Yeah, I think, the thing is like every large company is going to have an app if they don't already have an app. And I think us being technology individuals, it's either us integrating into them, providing something through a push. But yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get away from integration, because everybody wants to have that option.
Right.
And like I was saying, there's so many different technology aspects. Like we integrate into SCADA machine, systems for wastewater. We integrate into telemetry partners for pond management, because it's a smaller market. We integrate into fish farms. There's so many different ways. And there's other things we haven't even touched on yet, like AUVs, drones, other things like that from a sampling standpoint that I think are going to be more prevalent, that we just haven't had the time to get into. But, like we mentioned, I think this SampleServe integration that we were working on with you guys is a huge, change to the rental and just overall market that I think people are really going to help grow. I mean, when I talk to people about this, the first thing I always say is, if you write a 4 and a 9 kind of the same, and you put dirt on a bottle, the lab might not know that it's a 4 or 9, but this is going to help show you that it is. Like
application will. Yeah, exactly.
I can't, honestly, I can't stop expressing how much I think the advantages are here for this partnership because of the on-field need that a lot of our customers go through.
Yeah. And that's just the beginning of our partnership. In the future, we will be integrating, putting your rental and sales equipment stuff on our platform, so you can have access to that immediately while you're setting up your sampling events.
Yeah, and keeping it all in one easy place for people, that's the way to go. As long as it's easy, it's a huge flow, from the start of their project to the end, and having something that works really well. We're always here for anything like that gets the aqua trolls into the hands of people.
Right.
Yeah, the one thing that I've learned is that if you've got a platform that can communicate to all the parties involved, and that includes the rental companies, those tend to get used more than, I got to have an app for this one thing and then another app for this other thing. Anything that's like a platform where it lets everybody be on the same page at the same time is going to be successful, and we're very happy about a product that we're building out right now that's going to integrate with In-Situ and Ajax's rental portfolio. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, the thing is like we can do our best to contact as many people as we can to let them know about In-Situ rentals and Ajax rentals, but I think having another partner doing it as well is a huge help.
Yeah.
We're always adding new instruments to our fleet. So, if anybody ever doesn't see what they need, feel free to ask. We are always adding things to our rental.
And you guys do more than just like water sampling, right? You got air sampling and other
Yeah,
types
we do
of
air sampling, soil sampling. Our biggest ones that we do are on the NDT side. We do FLIR thermal cameras, and we do XRF guns for alloy testing. But as we grow, Ajax may have only gotten into a little bit of industrial hygiene, but as we grow, we're looking to advance that. We're looking to get into any area where people think they could use our quality service, to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Thanks.
So last question of the day. I think this is probably the most important. I think, what advice would you give to professionals who are hesitant about adopting new and different workflows, such as digital workflows?
I always ask people why they're hesitant. Like, is it a personal experience you had that was negative? Do you have like somebody above you who doesn't want to approve, things? Like, really, what's the emotional attachment to that? But I think the big thing is like the inability to adapt leads to extinction. And I think that as we talked about at the beginning, every day you have to revitalize what you've worked with. You have to make sure that you are trying to evolve to the best of your ability. It's just the natural way of life. And I think people who don't, unfortunately, you don't see them around as much anymore.
Right.
It's like the video you showed is a perfect example of somebody evolving into themselves more competitive. And like, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't in a business sense, but I think there's some emotional tie to some of these things.
Oh yeah,
There's
a lot of emotion.
Naturally against change,
Right.
Believe me, I face that every single day. So,
and honestly, some of the biggest pushback we get are the people that have already tried change and didn't like it. Our hardest thing to overcome is when somebody tries to use an app and they have a terrible experience, and then so they're kind of once bitten twice shy with using any kind of environmental data collection apps. So it's hard to say, hey, we're not like the rest of them. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, is they've tried some other products out there and they go, it didn't work. And they just assume that you're just like them. Like, well, it's actually different. So,
I think honestly, when it comes, I always make this joke, and like a lot of my friends and family always make fun of me for this one, but I always say that everyone's been eating turkey on bread their whole entire life. And all I want to do is put cheese on the sandwich. And if you don't like it on there ever again, you never have to try it again. If you just try once, I know it's very like, but I do think like if you just try something once and you really like put time into it, we're not asking you to learn how to program Linux or something like that. It's just try something different. And if it works, it works. If not, no big deal,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're asking for like an hour and a half to 2 hours of your dedicated, full on attention. And after that, we guarantee you, you're going to be like
it. Yeah. Our biggest fans are field technicians.
Yeah.
So, and most of them are just like Dave on the video there.
Yeah.
They're like, they love it. And they, because we save on average. Some people have said 40% of the time. It's about 20% of the time on average. So when you can save somebody 20% of their time, they're happy.
Nick asked again. He said, "Can apps integrate with XRF guns?"
So we don't manufacture the XRF guns ourselves, but if you are looking for anything, in that area, Nick, I would suggest reaching out to Ajax, because I'm sure we could talk to the manufacturer and figure it out. I think on the SampleServe side of things, I think that is something you guys could offer too, because if you're taking chips and you're taking them in for asbestos monitoring or anything like that, like most of those readings are going to come out from an XRF gun, which, you can manually enter, I'm assuming, into your system. So if it's not something right now, I wouldn't, I think any of these things that we sample for, air, soil, anything like that, that is all stuff that can get integrated into the SampleServe, application because of what it is. And like I said, it Ajax Rentals is our rental arm that is in Texas, and they are the primary for our soil and air and some of our additional water quality items.
Mhm.
So they can handle any of those kind of questions that come across.
Great.
Yeah, and that's his next question was who is Ajax? So.
Yeah, it's so right now we have them marketed as two brands. We potentially are looking at changing that for next year. We're having it as one brand, but it's a name that people in Houston and Dallas know. We are opening our third office, which will be in Austin, Texas. It's opening up on the 30th, I believe, is when we actually are opening the doors. So we'll be able to cover Texas in 3 of the major cities. Hopefully helping people get SampleServe, app and low flow sampling equipment more effectively.
Yeah. And we're kind of past our time here. If you'd like to get a more in-depth understanding of the SampleServe app, you can go to sampleserve.com, click our virtual demo. You can watch our individual short videos that take you through each aspect of the application. And also, if you'd like to, if you ever need to get a hold of Tyler, you can send us an email and we can get you in touch with him as well. And also, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Russell, for coming on today. We covered some good topics. I loved your answers, Tyler. They're pretty much exactly right in line with what we would say too, especially dealing with customers. And I think we're gonna hang it up there. So look out for next week's and make sure that if you want to start using SampleServe, it's always free. You can always start collecting data using the project management tool, collecting data in the field. That part is completely free. If you got an aquacontrol meter, you can integrate that easily and no charge. So
Tyler, if somebody want to get a hold of you, what's your email?
My email is it's THINTZ@in-situ.com. So that's Hintz@insitu.com. If anybody has any questions, I am on LinkedIn. And as well, if you guys are looking to try this out with a rental, we have the ability to get the printers that SampleServe also would need. So if you guys have any of those needs coming up, definitely reach out to the SampleServe team.
Great.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you.